Obviously, a pretty major shakeup in the training camp practice, especially in terms of quarterback reps over the weekend. It was supposed to be on Saturday, a Shedeur day. So much so that Todd Monken, an hour before practice, told reporters it was going to be a Shedeur day. However, the reality is Deshaun Watson ended up getting all the reps with the ones on Saturday. Daniel Yafusi, who covers the Browns for ESPN, put it into context in the simplest way. On a day when Shedeur was scheduled to practice with the starting offense, Deshaun Watson took every rep with the number one unit. Sanders split the remaining reps with Dylan Gabriel. I know, G, you were out there. Tyvis, who's going to join us in 20 minutes, was out there. Earl was out there. Jason, I don't think you were there on Saturday, but
I was not
in practice before. Todd Monken said to the media it was a Shedeur day. It ended up being a Deshaun Watson day. G. Bush, what do you make of the little bit of bait and switch act from Todd Monken, telling everyone it was a Shedeur day, but then going with Deshaun Watson with the ones? How big of a deal is this, and what should we take away from it?
Well, listen, first and foremost, I was there on Saturday, and we were there, and he said Shedeur was going to play, and he was going to get the bulk of the reps. He said Deshaun might get a couple reps, but he was going to get the bulk of them. Then sometime after that, I want to say we started hearing very quickly about people were kind of coming around saying, hey, listen, they went and said, hey, Deshaun's going to take the reps, and they switched it up. So Bernie was there. He was like, oh, man, people was like, oh, okay. It was even palpable enough that people in the stands were kind of like, what's going on? The crowd was like, is Shedeur hurt or he not playing? And so eventually got out, and Deshaun took most of the, pretty much, not even most, all of them, all the teams, all the runs. So I'm going to get to this. So I've been very vocal about this over the weekend. And to me, I spoke to Boog. I spoke to, actually, because I was wishing him happy birthday. I spoke to Coach Pride briefly. And they both said, listen, hey, you can only do what you can do with your reps. They didn't even really bring it up, and they really didn't even say anything about it. And that's the correct move. If you are in a quarterback competition and you are the quarterback of the team, things are going to happen where things going to change like this. And in football, I don't know if people are not used to this, but the coach changes stuff all the time. You can come out and say, hey, we about to have practice, and we got shells on. I've had times where the coach tells us to go back into the locker room and put pads on.
Minutes
pads.
before.
Minutes.
Yep.
They say, okay, well, we got 30 periods today. You get to 10 periods, and they say, okay, you guys, I don't like your energy. Start practice over. You're like, dog, start. That's just part of the game. So for me, I look at it, the Browns ain't played a game. The Browns ain't played a scrimmage. The Browns ain't played nothing. The only thing that you can do as a player is take the reps you get, whatever you get, and play to the best of your ability. And when you get your opportunity, go ball out. And that was the message I got from the people that are closest to Shedeur. So if the people that's closest to Shedeur has that mindset, why would people that support him have a different mindset? It's competition. At the end of the day, I can understand where he might have been a little taken aback, but at practice, I thought he handled it well. He came out, he was, it wasn't like he wasn't playing, he was playing bad. He came out and he was like, okay, cool. With the reps he got, he was crisp, he was solid, he was throwing the football, he had a little velocity on the ball. You could tell he was like, okay, I ain't getting the reps, but he wasn't demonstrably over the top frustrated or anything like that. But you could tell he was a little pissed about the situation and say, like, man, listen, hey, I thought I was going to be doing it, and it wasn't. But at the end of the day, we talk about practice at the end of the day, and Shedeur has gotten first team reps with the ones. Shedeur has moved in, and to be truthful, Todd Monken has had a pretty good even, I guess, distribution before that day. I think a problem that a lot of people have is, and we talked about a little bit earlier, Jay, is where's the difference between what you said 1 minute or about 20 minutes before practice and what changed in that time period?
Yeah.
And guess what, Jason? They'll probably talk to him about that today.
Oh, they will talk to him about it.
I think it might come up.
Yeah, I think it might come up a little bit.
He won't get his feet set at the podium, and someone will be saying, what happened Saturday?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
So, hey, listen, that's part of the game.
Yeah.
You the coach, he might and be prepared. He might come out and say, because I wanted to.
Yeah. That's exactly it. All he has to do is say, I changed my mind.
Yep, that's
all.
it. Change of heart.
And I know there's reports out there that Deshaun knew going in even before Todd addressed the media.
I think, didn't Mary Kay report that?
Yeah, that
Saturday?
Yeah, that
That he
Deshaun knew. Yeah. So, I mean,
Here's what Mary Kay said in case anyone didn't see. Steve, it's 44. If you take 44. Mary Kay reported, and just so we're all on the same page, as it turns out, Watson knew right after the walkthrough at about noon that he was going with the one Saturday, which was about 45 minutes before Monken told the media that Sanders was still the day 10 QB1.
Now,
So
if that
everyone's
if
on the
that
same
holds
page.
true, then for some reason, whatever, you call it a lie, call it deception, but if that holds true, then Monken was knowingly deceptive to the media.
oh my goodness, it's the first time ever
That's
that a
where-
coach wasn't honest.
That's where I was going to go. That's exactly where I was
How
gonna
could
go.
you?
Yeah.
Like, come on.
A coach. I think sometimes we as fans expect the relationship to be like a spousal relationship. That's an expectation that is unrealistic. Coaches lie all the time.
Coaches, players, agents, GMs,
They all
executives,
lie.
owners.
They all lie. And I remember when I
Sometimes
first
they
got in
have
this
to.
business, one of the first times it happened to me, I was furious. I'm like, how dare you?
Yeah.
And then some of the, more senior members of the media were looking at me like, bro, this isn't a truth-telling contest. You're going to get lied to. The media will always be lied to.
But
But I just don't know why he would do it.
So sometimes they have to. I understand, like they're trying to protect whatever.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's unnecessary.
Yeah, for a game plan, I can see
yeah.
why they would be
Yeah,
deceptive.
yeah.
But for practice, it doesn't really make sense.
We'll see what he has to say. Today.
I think he'll have a plausible explanation, and then the
We'll
fans
see.
can decide whether or not they buy
This
it.
one felt a little bit unnecessary, but whatever.
Yeah, it did
But,
feel
like,
unnecessary.
It's fun. Like I don't go down a rabbit hole, but like there's lying at the podium, and then there's lying behind the scenes. And like I've always operated with these guys. Like you say whatever you got to say at the podium. I don't believe anything that's ever said at the podium.
No.
It doesn't matter.
Yes.
It's
But
theater.
don't lie on a one-on-one pull-off.
That's
where
the
you're,
thing. That's why I tell them.
That's where trust gets eroded.
That's where I tell them. Like, the podium's whatever. But when we're talking, I understand you can't always tell me everything. Just don't lie to me.
Don't tell me a lie.
Just if you
Because
can't
that's
tell
your
me,
credibility then.
If you can't tell me, then don't tell me.
Right.
Like, just say I can't get into that. Okay, fine. I totally get that.
Yep.
So that's why there's like, we could do a whole show on just the theatrics of media and the podium game. I had a conversation.
The best one is GMs before the draft.
Oh, good God.
It's my favorite.
But I had a conversation with the Cavs PR guy years ago when I was on the beat. And this person's not even working for the team anymore. And I said, why is it that we can work really, really hard and try and get everything right? And if we get one thing wrong, you guys go crazy on us, but you can stand there and lie to my face, and that's okay. You know what his response was? Yes.
Because, Jay, that's why I say folks think it's a spousal relationship where trust is given and earned and then returned.
Yeah.
And it's not.
No.
The one side, media, always is held accountable. But the other guys are not. And I didn't make those rules. I don't like those rules. I learned early in my career, them the rules.
Yeah.
And they can do whatever they want.
I just had a conversation at the owners' meetings in March, April, June. So like 5 months ago, right? 4 or 5. Just this past owners' meetings. I was talking to a head coach in the NFL who was laughing about like all the coach has to say is that's not true. And like everybody believes it.
Yeah.
And of course it's true. But like, of course we know it's true, but like you got to say it.
They got to shoot it down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's just.
You're right about the rabbit hole and you could do a 2-hour show.
Yeah, I don't want to get back on track.
Yeah, and that dynamic of truth and trust and lies and deception, all of that being what it is, it was a head scratcher to me. And the only thing I could come up with was he is soft telling the media who his starter is. And I don't know that that's going to be the case.
Oh,
I don't know if you guys believe that or would buy that, but to me, I'm going through the list of whys. Why would he do this? It's kind of embarrassing to Shedeur. It definitely upset the fans. Deshaun was apparently the only guy in on the gig. And so as I'm going through the list of whys, and now I'm trying to go into his head, and that's always dangerous. The only thing I could come up with is he is soft telling the media Deshaun has won the competition.
Well, if you look at it, a lot of people, and I'll go to the aspect because, I mean, the internet went crazy. And they're like, listen, here we go again. This is wild. Like
another coach.
Why would, and so the thing I look at, and I don't protect nobody from nothing. At the end of the day, if you did say that, he has to know that people going like today, this it. He might not take another question for the rest of the week on nothing but quarterbacks because of the discrepancy.
It might also tell us, G, and Jay, I don't know if you've spent enough time around him, you probably have gotten the sense. I really don't think he cares one iota what we think of him.
No.
I don't. And I know he's a first-time coach, and I know he was prepped on the noise that's going to be around this quarterback decision.
Oh, for sure.
He knew. He watched it unfold last year from a distance.
Of course.
He knew what that was. And I think that he's got blinders on and earplugs in, and he's just going to make the decision regardless of what Sports Talk Radio says, regardless of what UCSS says, regardless of what the fans are saying on the internet. I'm pretty sure he's not going home and opening up his laptop and seeing what they're saying about him. I don't think he cares. I really don't.
No, because
and he shouldn't.
And this is the thing I get. And I really do want to say this, and it's part of it. A lot of the things that I've been hearing now, you already know. I said, there's a lot of people that said, even Jason said, hey, if you give me between Deshaun Watson and Shedeur, I'm gonna take Shedeur
Every time.
When I was at camp, I think a lot of people don't understand. Like, most of the fans wanted Shedeur to play. Most of the media was like, what are we doing here? So there's a difference to it. But I do want to say this. People say, well, how much does it have to go through? How much is this going to be? What do you mean, how much? It's never going to stop. Let me just give you a thing about what franchise quarterbacks go through. Even if this year he's the starting quarterback, right? Guess what? He's going to have an evaluation on whether or not, how many games did you win, right? Then they're going to say, how many games did you win? They say, okay, well, if you won some games, they're going to say, well, how much did you contribute to those wins? I want to see the numbers.
Yeah.
Then, even if you win games and have numbers, the next hurdle is, are those games and numbers good enough for us not to use the picks we got to get a quarterback?
Yeah.
And guess what? Even if you say, okay, well, he balled out, boom, 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 guess what? You got to prove it again the next year. And even if you prove it again that next year, it comes down to, oh, you're a fifth-round pick. Guess what we need to know? Baker Mayfield is learning the hard way. Guess what? Baker still can't get a long-term bag because they're going to say, are you worth the money? The thing I'm saying, it is not being skeptical about it, is I'm giving you the steps of what it is to be a face of an organization.
What does the NFL stand for?
Not for long.
That's it. Yeah. None of these jobs are forever. And
you're always on the clock.
The most solid starting quarterback, minus probably the top 5, you can go the bottom 6 through 32. If they start 0-5 and their picks are double their touchdowns, they're out of a job. You're a month away from losing your job unless you're a Patrick Mahomes or one of these other, solidified quarterbacks that are considered top 5s. The other guys, this is an audition for this year and this year only. Unless one of these quarterbacks takes this team 12-5 in a playoff run, we're looking for a quarterback next year. I don't even think 8-9 is going to be good enough. 9-8 might not be good enough. It's just, I feel like this is a short-term fix. And next year, we'll be doing the same thing all over again. Mike, you have a question.
Yeah, G, I got a question for you real quick. I saw over the weekend, or I guess it was yesterday, you did the barbershop stream, your live show. Which, by the way, check out the barbershop. G does a great job on it. The thumbnail you used was, is this Stefanski Part 2?
Mm-hmm.
Ooh.
It's a great thumbnail, by the way.
Well, it's going to get a lot of clicks. That's the whole idea.
Done and executed to perfection. G. Bush, the master at YouTube and algorithms. So first off, kudos to you, G, because you nailed that one. But I guess my question is, with Monken, I'm going to use the word deceive. He has no reason that he has to be truthful. I don't have an issue with what he did per se. But do you think, and I'm asking based off the thumbnail, like there's some nefarious play here that he's trying to undermine Shedeur in a way that we talked a lot about last year with how Stefanski handled the quarterback situation?
No. Because
what was your ultimate answer to your question? Is this Stefanski Part 2?
My ultimate answer was no.
Oh, okay.
My ultimate answer was, as we frame this situation, you got to think about it in terms of this. Before that day, and we still don't have an answer as to why he did it. Now, guess what? We can see today and we'll figure out why it is. But the difference between last year and this year is there was 3 people that had to get hurt and moved for him to even get an opportunity halfway through the season. In this case, you could be upset that, that Todd Monken said what he did and did what he said. That's on you. You can actually be upset about that, right? And you can say, well, I don't like the fact that coach, we asked him a point blank question and he switched it up. And based on what his answer is, that's up to you to decide. But here's the difference that I say the difference between last year and this year is. The difference between those two circumstances is Shedeur has improved greatly. Like, his game is different. The team is different. The way he's been mixed into in the quarterback competition, just go by the numbers and look at the tracker situation. He's getting first team reps. He's been playing well with the first team. He's done, as a matter of fact, if you look at his performance, most people at training camp will say that he had outplayed Deshaun Watson. So just on the opportunities, it's still the same thing. And then I keep coming back to this. If I talk to the people closest to him, and they like, oh, listen, it's about what you do on the field and then getting the opportunity, and we excited about the opportunity and chance to get to play in the preseason and show what we can do in real time in games that really matter to the competition. My question is, if they ain't got an issue with it, and they are standing on business saying, listen, if you believe what his talent level is, the competition, let it roll on. Throw for throw, play for play. Deshaun Watson made some good throws. Now you come back and make the good throws.
I will say this to that comment, G. They may have learned from some missteps last year when some comments did get out to the media, where Prime was second guessing and raising his eyebrows and kind of asking rhetorical questions that stirred up a lot of stuff. And I was surprised by it. He's a veteran. He was one of the greatest players ever to play this game. I was surprised that he kind of went there, and perhaps they learned that lesson and said whatever noise they have, they keep it totally tight internally, because if the fans complain and certain members of the media complain, that's one thing. If Shedeur and Prime start saying things that puts the coach or the team in a negative light, he's killed himself for any kind of future here. So they're doing the right thing by saying nothing to no one.
Well, here's the thing. Even when he came here, he came, he didn't do no interviews, he went right.
Which is the way he should have done it.
He watched
so maybe they learned from last year.
And plus, you got to look at it, and the framing is kind of in a situation where last year it was a completely different thing. The Cleveland Browns were not in lockstep with even drafting Shedeur Sanders.
No.
So that premise right there already put a little animosity with the way things was going in the locker room, and whether it was Stefanski's guy or it was Dylan Gabriel, whatever the case may be. At the end of the day, let it play out.
That's exactly right. You know what's going to decide it is they're playing the preseason games when they get the start. So none of this stuff really matters.
Let it play out.
Unless when he comes to the podium today at 12:45, he said, you know what? From the time I told you that to the time we started practice, we collectively got together and we made the decision that Deshaun's our starter. If that's the case, then that's the case, and that could change even through preseason. If one of them was awful in the preseason and Shedeur's great, then maybe he moves up. I know